Hello, 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 my pre-K family, parents, and teachers. Today I wanted to talk about um, acknowledging students' voice or acknowledging your child's voice, or just acknowledging things that they do, right? So we are human, and so we like to be affirmed, and we like when people recognize what we do. And one of the things that I learned in my pre-K classroom is that when a child does something for you, as far as draw you a picture, or even if they are just working on their own, whether they built a tower in the block area or they're playing on their own and they did something that they feel good about and they want to show it to you, or you want to find a way to acknowledge what they've done. Most times we say, "Oh, good job. Oh, good job. Nice." And so what happens is we put a judgment on the work that they're doing, right? And sometimes we may not recognize what it is that they're actually doing. If it's a drawing, sometimes we may try to guess and we're like, "Oh, is that?" So rather than doing all of that, when a child does something, you simply just acknowledge what they did by just saying exactly what they did. Right? You don't have to put your judgment on it. You don't have to say, "Oh, good job," because while you may appreciate the work that they did, they need to also understand that, how they feel about the work that they did is important. It's not so much about what I think, if I think it's a good job or not a good job or whatever. So what you can do, like what I've learned to do, is to say, "Oh, I see that you drew a picture. Do you want to tell me about it?" And then it opens it up for them to tell you exactly what they did. So you acknowledged what they did, that they drew a picture and they used a lot of colors, or you noticed that there are a lot of lines. Just call out something that you noticed. Just notice something about the work that they did. Or even this could also be used when it comes to behavior. That's going to be a video for another time. But when it comes to acknowledging actual work that a student has done or that your child has done, you say, "Oh, nice, nice," and then that's basically the end of the conversation. But you want to deepen the conversation, and you want to engage them in conversation and communication, which we've been talking about is super important, by extending the conversation. So with the example that I gave before, if they were building something with Legos, you could say, if they say, "Mommy, look," or "Look, Miss Camille, look what I did." You say, "Oh, I see you built something. Tell me what you built." And then that gives them the vocabulary that they built something. And number two, now they begin to understand that their voice is important, their thoughts are important, because you're asking them to tell you rather than you making an assumption or a judgment about the work that they are doing. A child's work is play, and many times we may not know how to actually extend the conversations within play, but it's definitely something that is important, an important skill as teachers and as parents to cultivate and to develop, because it helps our children learn how to express themselves. It gives them opportunity to talk about their work, and then it gives you an insight on what they know and what they don't know. It gives you an insight on what misconceptions they may have, or what, maybe things that you may need to correct, right? So again, it's super important that when you see a child working, you want to say something or acknowledge the work that they're doing, you can do so without putting your personal judgment on it, to say, "Oh, good job." And if they ask you, "Well, what do you think?" You say, "Well, what do you think? Tell me what you think first," because what they think is more important than what they think is more important than what you think, because it's about the process, not the product. And I know that sometimes we get in the weeds about, like, "Oh, you know, it's a bunch of scribble, like you don't know what that means. But to them, they created the world, the earth is over here, mommy and daddy is walking over here, and you don't see it because it's not your work, which is why it's important for you to ask them. Well, you tell me about it. Tell me about your work. That's one of those are three of my those are some of my favorite words. Tell me what you did. Tell me about your work, you know, and then you ask them questions about what they said. Oh, so if you see a line or you see two figures, or they say, oh, that's mommy and me. I'm like, okay, and where are you? And because it doesn't really look like much to you, but to them, they know exactly what they're doing. Where are you guys? Oh, you're walking. Okay. And so are you guys outside or are you inside? And so when you ask these types of questions, it helps them to begin to process through and to think more deeply about the work that they are doing. So I hope you found that helpful, and I'll talk to you guys next time.